we're not taught how to support people, how to show up for people that are in deep grief. Things not to say. And these are things that almost everybody says. These are things that I used to say. The first one is never ask a grieving person, hey, how you doing? The problem is that that salutation is so common. When you say, how are you, and you know that they're suffering, it's almost as if you're discounting their suffering because you're not acknowledging it. A better salutation is, hey, how are you holding up? How are you holding up signifies you know they're going through a difficult time. Or you can say, hey, how are you managing today? Because that is what a grieving person is going through. We are managing our life. Some days better than others, some days worse than others. I have a group of friends that text me weekly, some of them almost daily, and they're very short texts. And they will often say, I think about you every day. The fact that somebody in the midst of their busy life, with everything they have going on, their challenges, their struggles, thinks about what me and my wife are going through is incredibly comforting and is a wonderful way to show up for somebody. It's something so simple, doesn't cost you anything. One of the biggest fears that grieving people have is that one day the rest of the world will move on without them. And so just saying, I think about you every day is a wonderful, wonderful thing. See, we're taught that when you're dealing with someone going through something, that the goal should either be to fix them or cheer them up or avoid the topic for fear that you might make them more sad. But that's bad advice. When people allow us to talk about our son's life, it's an acknowledgement that his life was important, and that is extremely healing for a grieving person. In this culture, especially us men, we're told that real men don't cry. And so we internalize everything, we bottle everything up, we carry the world on our shoulders. We don't let people see our doubts and our worries and our failures and our frustrations because we're men. But then that pressure inside you just builds and builds and builds like a pressure cooker. And unless you let out just a little bit of steam here and there, you end up exploding at some point. In Hawaii, when an important surfer passes away, all of his friends and family, they paddle out into the ocean and do a ceremony. And so 19 of us paddled out into the Hawaiian Ocean, not far from where I taught him how to surf. At the end of the ceremony, the Hawaiian pastor blew his conch shell 4 times. We took off our Hawaiian leis, stripped the flowers, and we released the flowers into the ocean. It was a beautiful ceremony, and it was a beautiful way to celebrate his birthday. 4 of those friends are Vietnamese, and they shared with me a saying from their culture that is perhaps the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And the saying is Chia Buon. And the English translation of that is, let us divide and help carry the emotional burden that you carry. You see, when a person is in the midst of deep grief, the best analogy I can give you is it's like wearing a 100-pound backpack every day. And as time goes on, that backpack does not get any lighter. Your ability to carry the backpack might get a little bit better, but the heaviness of the backpack does not go away. What Chia Buon is about is showing up for your grieving loved one and help them carry the burden, that heavy-ass backpack that they got to carry for the rest of their life. To be able to do that is one of the greatest gifts you can give somebody. So how do you do that? How do you help them carry that backpack? Saying the right things, refraining from saying the wrong things, doing the right things, not doing the wrong things. Sometime later this year, I'll be releasing this book, and it's like a 100-page playbook of what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do. And the reason I felt this was so important, again, is that we're not taught the proper etiquette. We're not given the right words to say. But I'll tell you when it really hit home was after I got done writing the first draft of the manuscript, I received a text from my friend's husband. And her husband texted me and says, "Want to let you know Joyce passed last night." And I immediately started to reply to the message. and realized in the midst of replying to the message, I didn't know what the hell to say. I just wrote the book about what to say and what not to say, and I was still at a loss for words. And so I dug into my bag, I ripped out the manuscript, I started flipping through it, and I can take that, I can take that, I can use that. And that's how I constructed a 3-sentence reply to my friend's husband. If I don't know what to say, how does the average person that's not intentionally living their life in this space, how are they gonna know what to say? And so hopefully with this talk and the release of this book and future talks, I'll be able to bring about some more awareness to this subject that I think is so important. Thank you so much.